Tested.
Hey guys, Norm from Tested. I'm here at CTIA 2011 here at the Samsung booth. Look what I got in my hand. It's the Galaxy Tab 10.1. No, psych, it really isn't. This is the prototype that was announced at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. The 10.1, that's the already outdated model. This is never coming to market. You'll never see this in stores. The reason why is Samsung actually redesigned it. It's actually thinner and lighter than this prototype. But this is a good example of some of the software. So it's running TouchWiz UX, Samsung's proprietary UI, over Android Honeycomb 3.0. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what makes TouchWiz UX unique. So looks a lot like Honeycomb. You have the 5 windows. You notice on the top you have the dots. That's very Samsung-like. Notifications, different. So you quick access to Wi-Fi, airplane mode, Bluetooth. That's new. That's not in Honeycomb. It's just a little different, but here's the coolest part. You can actually resize the widgets. So for example, one of the widgets I like, here's like a mail widget. You can, if you hold, long click it, you can actually resize different sizes. So I can make it taller. I can make it shorter. That's not in Honeycomb right now. And finally, you actually have access to more widgets. For example, I can pop up a calculator, and it actually stacks. This calculator widget actually can go on top of other widgets. That is definitely not in iPad, definitely not in iOS, not in Honeycomb, only on UX. Now, when this comes to market, when this comes out, it's coming out June 8th in the US, not, of course, not this particular physical model. This is not final hardware, not final software. But when the final 10.1 comes out, it will be $500 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version. They haven't announced with carriers yet, but will probably lock down, so you won't be able to revert back to traditional Honeycomb. You'll be stuck with the TouchWiz. But from my limited experience with TouchWiz so far, it seems very usable. Hopefully Samsung will update it as Android gets updated. But this is very neat. This is the prototype that will never reach the market, 10.1 Galaxy Tab. Let's take a look at the other one. All right, I have in my hand the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9. Again, this is a prototype that will never reach the market. And the reason why is that once Apple, iPad 2 came out, Samsung's like, we gotta actually make this thinner, lighter, and so this is actually a little thicker than what the final version will be. The screen is the same. It's 1280 by 800, very high pixel density. If you look at it right now, it actually looks really, really sharp. Again, it's like the 10.1. It's running TouchWiz UX on top of Honeycomb 3.0. The 10.1 is the same screen resolution, 1280 by 800. One thing I immediately noticed, even though this won't be the final hardware, it is extremely, extremely light. So even though this is not as thin as the final hardware, and probably actually a little heavier, the final hardware is going to be lighter than this, 470 grams, which is actually almost a pound. 1 pound is 454 grams. Already in my hand, this is like near Kindle light almost. And this is even the final hardware. It is made of plastic, and a lot of people have a lot of concerns, is plastic going to be sturdy? What happens if I drop it? I'm not going to drop it here because this isn't mine, but it feels pretty sturdy to me. The backing does have a little bit of a rubberized grip. The camera on these prototypes are actually higher megapixel than what you're going to get in the final version, because the final ones are going to be super thin, 8.6 millimeters thin. They're only going to be 2-3 megapixels on the cameras. Actually, let's take a look at some of the real prototypes that I have here behind glass. So I just gave you a quick look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 and 10.1s, the not final hardware, the Barcelona prototypes that will never reach market. And the reason they won't ever see stores is because of this. This is the new prototype of what the Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 will look like. And look how thin it is. It is actually 8.6 millimeters, you can see on the glass. Thinner than the iPad 2. iPad 2 is 8.8. 0.2 millimeters might not seem like a big difference, but it's really the weight that will be the difference. 470 grams is the weight. That's almost, not under quite a pound yet, but almost a pound. Now, Samsung hasn't actually talked about what processor they're using inside. They have said it's a dual-core 1 gigahertz processor, but they haven't said whether it's a Samsung manufactured processor. We won't know that till later. The 8.9 one, pricing is also very interesting. As they come out early summer, $469, undercuts the iPad by $30 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version. That makes this pretty compelling if you're a fan of Android. Hey guys, Norm from Tested. I am at the Mobile Focus PepCom event at the Samsung booth. Guess what? here is, like we saw earlier, the Galaxy Tab 10.1, the Vodafone prototype, which will not hit the market, but behind it, we got it out of the glass. This is the new prototype, 8.6 millimeter thin, non-working, but the hardware, this is what it's gonna weigh, this is what it looks like. Look at this, look how thin it is. Compare the old prototype, which is about 10 millimeters thick, to the new one, 8.6 millimeters, thinner than the iPad 2. I'm just gonna put it in one hand. It doesn't weigh that much at all. So unfortunately, this doesn't turn on right now. Oh my goodness, it's so thin. 3 megapixel camera as opposed to the prototype 8 megapixel camera. In the front, 2 megapixel camera. But again, they had to make these concessions just to get it that thin. It is, I think, 570 grams for the 10.1 inch version. And they also have the 8.9 inch version. I'm gonna grab that. 470 grams, almost a pound. So I showed you TouchWiz UX earlier today. This isn't working on this one, but again, this is out early summer. I think June 8th, you'll be able to buy this, $500 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version. Look how thin it is, thinner than a pencil. And also I have now the 8.9 Galaxy Tab. This is also the new prototype. Same thickness as the 10.1 inch one, but even lighter. I was a really big fan of the form factor of the Galaxy Tab 7, the original one, which ran Froyo. This, of course, runs Honeycomb. This is perfect. I mean, typing, I can imagine typing in the portrait position, which I love for web browsing. It is so light. Again, 10.1, 8.9, June 8th. This is early summer, $469, undercutting the iPad 2 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version. I'm pretty excited for these tablets to come out. So we'll have more coverage from CTIA. I'm Norm from Tested. I'll see you guys next time.